Mike from Overcool again. Let's talk about Brian's UTE Smith kit charger. His car was one of those to where, like Mark advertises for the average mechanic, it's not a problem for those folks to build this kit in one weekend. First of all, that's a farce. You cannot do it in one weekend. I couldn't even do it in one weekend. He got the body cut, he got the bed in there, he got all the aluminum in there, and when it came time to start fitting the fiberglass panels on it, nothing lined up, nothing worked. So as most people do, he messed with it for a couple months, got frustrated, threw a cover over it, and it sat in his garage for 2 years. He heard about me through Facebook and through a friend of mine, Jeremiah Watts. Big shout out to him in Carolina. We talk almost daily. And he got in touch with me and we talked a little. And he sent me a short video of what condition the car was in and asked for a ballpark figure. I gave him that figure. He said it sounded good. A transportation company delivered the car roughly 2 weeks later. When it first got here and we looked at it, it was like, man, this is the biggest hunk of crap I ever saw, to be honest with you, because everything was thrown inside the truck, but nothing was finished. But there wasn't a huge deal for me because I knew that if it was a kit, all the components were there, did an inventory of the components, and contacted Smith Performance, and Mark said, yes, you have everything you need to complete the rest of the build. So we went ahead with fitting the rear quarter panels, and when we were going through that, we discovered that the car had previously been hit because we couldn't get anything to line up. So we stopped with the rear quarters, went to the front end. I told the owner, you need to order a new bumper cover if you want to upgrade to the SRT cover or whatever, but the bumper cover was cracked and would require an unusual amount of work to make it decent again. He ordered a replacement. We got it in here, we started lining things up, and right away found that like the headlight support was broken. So we repaired all that and realigned the front end. And when we realigned the front end and got all the door gaps right and the hood gaps right, you have to start from one point. And when we did that, then a lot of the pieces started lining up in the back because the doors were closing correctly. And the gap at the top of the fender and door and bottom of the fender and door were correct. So from that point we started fitting the rear fiberglass. The quality of finished product from this kit, this was the third kit that he built in that series for the old Chargers, through 06 Chargers. The three-piece window surround did not fit at all. When we started piecing it together and putting everything sort of trial fitting it, it looked like wings. They weren't tapered to the right depth. They were in no way correct. I spent a good part of a month just cutting and grinding and adding fiberglass to the rear window surround and getting it to where it tied into both of the quarter panels. We accomplished that finally. And after getting that part of it done, then it came time to address the tailgate and roll pan. The tailgate sat an inch and a half lower than the top of the tailgate, sat an inch and a half lower than the top of the rear quarters, And Smith Performance's fix for that was a two-way taped on rear tailgate spoiler and a piece of wood to shim the height up, which I thought was just totally crap. So I took the mounts for the tailgate and moved the tailgate up where it needed to be, even with the top with just the spoiler and no chunk of wood underneath it. And it left a huge gap at the bottom where the tailgate, between the tailgate and the roll pan. And several discussions with different people, yeah, that's why you can't do that. That's why you need to leave it low and add that wood in there. I just don't believe in adding a hunk of wood in there to make edges meet. There's a way to engineer it, and I did. I ripped the old roll pan back off and I added to the height of the roll pan 1.25 inches and filled a little bit of that gap. Now with it that way, the body lines from the tail light actually transitioned to the body lines on the tailgate, and everything looked 100% better. The color choice of Brian of the dark green metallic is almost like a British racing green metallic, but a little bit darker. It's called Hawthorne green metallic from Paint for Cars. That was his choice. I don't think it did the car justice for all the work that we did with it. Finished it up. It looked kind of bland. I found out that he was into Grim Reaper. He has a few tattoos. So I got stencil kits and actually stenciled the Grim Reaper under the clear coat that I put over it. He was tickled to death with how it came out. He wanted black wheels on it. He ordered the wheels and tires and had them delivered here. More of the mail order fiasco that we talk about with every project. The tires and wheels showed up and they were mounted reverse. It said inside and it was on the outside, which means they're directional. So we had to get that done here locally, get them going and mounted in the right position, right direction. And it wasn't bad, but I personally, I won't do another kit. I'll help somebody finish a kit, but I won't do a kit from scratch. Those kits are not detailed enough. They're not trial fitted before they're shipped. It's just, mass produce it and send it out. He was happy with the car. That's what counts 100%. So when you look at it and you say, I wouldn't have put that hood scoop in there or that retro Charger grill. That was what the owner wanted, and that's what counts. It doesn't matter what, when you're doing that type of a job, it doesn't matter what your personal feelings on it are. You have to make the customer, you want to see that gleam in his eye when he sees it for the first time. That's what you're looking for. Not necessarily a smile, not jumping up and down, yahoo. You want to see that gleam in his eye when he sees it for the first time. And that's what happened with it. When he saw it, it was perfect. His girlfriend was ecstatic with it, so they were super happy with how it came out. Me, I want to have the same feeling with every project I do. I get a vision in my head of how I want it to work, and then I make it work, one way or the other. Cut the panel up, channel it, chop it, whatever I have to do. That's the look I want on the back or the front of this vehicle. That's why this PT Cruiser is going to be so unique, because that was my approach with it. That'll be my approach with the two Beetle pickups. That'll be my approach with the PT Cruiser pickup. It'll be a true pickup, and it'll have a full 6-foot bed. I think what I have in mind will shock a lot of you, but when you stop and think about it, it's a perfect way to make forms, contours, and things that we've talked about with my truck. The contours, the bends, the flows have to match the body lines. There's just no question about it. Doesn't matter what you're doing. So that's a short brief on the Charger UTE that I did for Brian. This is Mike from Uber Cool. Out.